Hello and welcome to the Album Man, and today I'm going to be doing particularly late CDs I bought recently for December 2012, and vinyls I got one vinyl. And if you're wondering why I haven't been getting vinyls the last few months, not because I don't like vinyl, in fact I like them more than ever because I have a record player that I got for my birthday that sounds phenomenal. But it's just that I tend to get them mostly from car boots and it's winter, so yeah. Anyway, let us start off with the vinyl. And I'll say this is really the best start to it. It's Strange Days in Berlin by Sally Oldfield, and just look at this face. This sums up everything. It was basically a middle of the road electro pop album that I bought on a whim because it was Sally Oldfield, Mike Oldfield's sister, who appears on 5 Miles Out. It seemed okay, and it has Hans Zimmer on it. It doesn't even have Mike Oldfield on it. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have bought this. It's not very good. I've listened to it. Oh, it's really, I wouldn't recommend it unless you're into middle of the road electro pop. Okay, let's move on to the CDs then. Okay, so firstly we have Back from the Dead by Adler, and this was very kindly sent to me by Adler's press people, New Ocean Media, so big thank you to them, and especially Doug Weber. Appreciate it very much. So yeah, I got this for free. And yeah, you know, as I said in my review, absolutely love this album. This is my top 10 albums of 2012. Absolutely fantastic album from Steven Adler, the ex-drummer of Guns N' Roses from Appetite for Destruction. And yeah, can't wait to see what this band put out next. Okay, so when I was in Poland, in Krakow, I got one CD, and even though it's not at all Polish, it was, you know, sort of like a reasonable price. And this is Marilyn Manson's Born Villain. There's going to be quite a bit of Marilyn Manson here. But yes, this is the first one, and this is his latest album, which was in my, top 25 albums of the year, I think top 20, maybe 15 or something. Absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed this. It's a really strong album, to be honest. Especially Slow Motion and No Reflection. Really good. Okay. This I bought in London in some, I don't know, vinyl exchange, record exchange or something. And this is Rival Sons EP. Yeah, just their first EP really, which was before Pressure and Time. And it contains songs like Torture and Sleepwalking, which they still play live to this day. So yeah, it was cool to have this. Yeah, not bad. Okay, then the other thing I got in London was my album of the year of 2012, which I've praised and gone on about quite a bit over the last week odd. Anathema's Weather Systems, and this is the limited edition hardback version, which contains 2 discs. Here's the second disc, and the first disc, well, it's in my CD player. But yes, this is a 2-disc version. The second disc has a 5.1 surround sound version, which I have yet to check out, but definitely will, because I think this album is really good in surround sound. Anyway, I recommend this album to anyone and everyone that's a fan of any form of progressive music. It's basically atmospheric, sort of proggy-ish rock. If you like songs that build to a climax, then you'll enjoy this band, to be honest. And I adore this album. I mean, seriously adore it. Yeah, this album is amazing. Okay, next we have starting the Christmas haul. And firstly, we have right. Let me just get this out. So we have this album, which you may think, hold on, didn't I have that? I reviewed it when it came out in like March or whatever, and I showed it in my appropriate CDs I bought recently. Well, yes, I did, but I bought it again. And it's not like they released a new version. No, it's because when I went to see Shinedown, they were doing a thing where if you get the album again, effectively, or, buy the album, then you can meet the band afterwards and get it signed. So that's what I did, and I got it signed by all the bands and got to meet them. And yeah, that was pretty cool if I don't drop it. But yeah, that was pretty awesome, so very happy to have a signed copy of that album. Okay, next we have, I don't even want to talk about this band. We have Asia, XXX, Asia's new album. Don't want to talk about Asia, too depressing because Steve Howe left earlier today. Okay, let's move on. So, next we have Dylan's latest album, Tempest, which again was in my top 25 of 2012. You've noticed I'm doing the ones that I already showed in that video first. So yeah, Tempest, already said about this, love it, going to be doing a full review soon, you know, one of Dylan's best, certainly for a while. Now this is probably the best thing CD-wise I got for Christmas. And this is Joe Bonamassa's Driving Towards the Daylight, an album I've been wanting, and you know, it's the cool limited edition, but obviously the striking feature is the fact that it has pen on it, which is signed by him, which is very cool to have a signed copy of this album. It's actually only my second Joe Bonamassa album, weirdly. His album's always so expensive, but my dad has most of them, so you know, I have listened to all of them. Pretty much, except for Ballad of John Henry and Black Rock. I don't think I've heard those. Anyway, yeah, really good album, fantastic album, and it's signed, so that's really cool considering he's my favourite guitarist of all time. Okay, next we have Steamroller by Philip Sayce, which was released in 2012 but didn't make it into my list. And it was a tad disappointing. It wasn't a bad album, it's not going to be in my top 10 most disappointing albums of the year, trust me, it won't. But stuff like The Ball wasn't as good, and Rhythm and Truth, there was just weaker elements on it. It wasn't like in Evolution, which I think is a modern classic. It just wasn't good. Yes, things like Steamroller, Marigold, Aberystwyth, which should have been longer, it was an instrumental at the end. Really good, but the rest, it just didn't cut as much for me. Then, another album that didn't make it onto my top 25, but still was, you know, decent, was Black Country Comedian's Afterglow. And yeah, I mean, it was alright. I don't know why classic rock were calling it their best. Even Joe Bonham, you know, I think Joe Bonamassa sums it up himself, that number one is their best. But, yeah, you know, it's alright. Now, next, this is quite an interesting one. This is Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell. But, as you can see, I clearly already have it. I have the vinyl here, and I have the 97 revamped version on CD, so why do I need another? Well, in my opinion, this is the best version, and this is the Master Sound version, which means it's the 24 karat gold version. And honestly, I recommend everyone who's a fan of this album to pick this up. I tell you the reason, you know, some of these Master Sounds can be bloody expensive, like the Appetite for Destruction one that I'd love is about 90 quid. The Born to Run one, which I have, that's about 20-25 quid. But this, on Amazon, honest to God, is £3 with £1.26 shipping. It's an absolute bargain. It just has so much of a better sound. The sound difference is dramatic, absolutely dramatic, between this and certainly the 97 remastered. Definitely recommend this if you love the album. Okay, next we have the only greatest hits we're going to be having, which is the Ultimate Kansas, which is pretty cool. We wanted to check out Kansas. I only know Wayward Son, and was surprised to know that they have some really long songs. I didn't know Kansas did like 16-minute songs, so yeah, that's really interesting. Next we have a pretty classic album that I've never heard before, which is Wishbone Ash's Argos. Yeah, looking forward to hearing this. It's sort of a classic, you know, prog album from a classic band. Adding to a band that I really should have more of, the Scorpions, fantastic band, especially now that they've said they're not retiring. And yeah, this is Animal Magnetism, one of their classics, not much to say. Next we have Thin Lizzy's, possibly their best album, and a classic, even if it is debatable how live it truly is, because there's sort of rumours that quite a bit of it was re-recorded in the studio, but it's still a classic album, it doesn't matter. Thin Lizzy's Live and Dangerous, love this album, it has such a good feel and sound to it, just has a raw power to it, it really suits Thin Lizzy. Lynyrd Skynyrd's 1991. I love Lynyrd Skynyrd. This is the first album post-Crash. This is the first of the, you know, lineup that is today, except really the lineup that was then has changed quite a lot. This had the original drummer, and it had the Billy Powell, the keyboardist as well, who both of them are dead. Well, I think the drummer's a bit like mental, but the keyboardist is certainly dead. Yeah, different lineup, need to check it out. Okay, and this is quite a known album. Opeth's best album in a lot of people's opinions, Blackwater Park. Now, I was a bit underwhelmed by Heritage, but I certainly like Damnation. I think that's a good album. So yeah, I'm going to check out Blackwater Park. I heard a lot of good things about it. I can listen to it very soon. An absolute classic album, by a classic band that really I should have had for a long time, but didn't until now. Iron Maiden's Iron Maiden, with Paul Di'Anno on vocals, and yeah, I mean, such a classic, more punky Iron Maiden, less metal, less refined, it's got a lot rawer power to it, it's such a good album. Songs like Running Free and Phantom of the Opera, and of course Iron Maiden, and I still play Running Free and Iron Maiden to this day. Quite an interesting album. The Crazy World of Arthur Brown's, well, Crazy World of Arthur Brown, and this is the album with Fire on it, his first album, and only one for ages and ages and ages till the 90s, and he has released about 3 albums last decade and is now going on tour. But yeah, this is a really good album, and it has a fantastic cover of I Put a Spell on You. Can't remember who that's by, but it's such a blues classic, and I honestly think this could be better than the original. I love the original, but Arthur Brown really adds something to it, and it was quite surprising actually. But the rest of it is pretty much, you know, late 60s psychedelia, and yeah, and Fire of course. And the whole album's about hell. There's nothing not to love. I really recommend checking this out if you're a fan of psychedelia or the song Fire. Okay, next, an album I've been wanting to get for ages and ages, and finally have it. Queensrÿche's Operation Mindcrime. And this album is stupidly hard to find. I mean, not on the internet, on Amazon it's easy, but out and about, it's like Empire I see everywhere, and then Promised Land I see quite a bit, and a new one. But on this, I never see it anywhere. It's annoying, but finally have it. Can't wait to listen to it. A classic prog album that I've been wanting to get. Genesis, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. I do love Genesis. Peter Gabriel Genesis, that is. You know, I think Supper's Ready on Foxtrot's their best work. But yeah, you know, this is such a classic prog album. Can't say I like Phil Collins' Genesis as much, or not that much at all, to be honest. I can't say I like the album Invisible Touch, really, at all. Okay, next we have another classic album, and this is to complete my collection of them. Ritchie Blackmore's Rainbow, and I think I have all the Rainbow albums that were, except the last one that was released in the early 90s, but I don't sort of count that because it was originally just meant to be a Blackmore solo album, but the record company forced him to change the name to Rainbow to sell more and draw more attention. I probably will still check it out, but I pretty much have all the core Rainbow albums now. So yeah, this isn't as good as stuff like Long Live Rock and Roll and Rising, which is Dear Era Rainbow, but it still has Man on the Silver Mountain and 16th Century Greensleeves, which are, you know, 2 classic Rainbow songs. Next we have Caravan, and I've been loving Caravan ever since checking out Land of Grey and Pink, and this is If I Could Do It All Over Again, I'd Do It All Over You. Haven't got a chance to listen to this yet, but very much looking forward to some good old whimsical Caravan. An album I think that's going to be dodgy, but I don't know, could be cool. The original's good. It's a sequel, and it's a Tubular Bells 2 by Mike Oldfield, and I seem to have had a Mike Oldfield album every month since about July or whatever. It's quite silly the amount of Mike Oldfield albums I now have, but I do love the guy. So yeah, I adore Tubular Bells, so what's Tubular Bells 2 like? I don't know, but I will do a trilogy review of these eventually when I get my hands on number 3. Anthrax's Among the Living. I saw Anthrax support Motorhead. Really impressed by them. I thought they were absolutely fantastic live. Shane, the lead guitarist, Kazaggio, has left. He wasn't the lead guitarist on this album, I don't think, though, because this was in '87. He's only been a member for like 12 years or something. But yeah, this has my favourite Anthrax song, Indians, and it also has Caught in a Martian, I Am the Law. It's my favourite Anthrax album that I've heard, but you know, it has my favourite Anthrax songs on, so yeah, enjoy it a lot. Getting close to having every Dream Theater album, and this is certainly a step towards it, and this is Dream Theater's 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, a 2-disc double album, which is quite interesting for Dream Theater, and I mean, one disc has literally 1 song on it, and I haven't had the time yet to listen to the epic 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, but I'm looking forward to it quite a bit. It's 42 minutes and 4 seconds according to this. Wow. I thought Change of Seasons was epic and long, and that's only like 25 minutes or something. 42 minutes for 1 song. I'm looking forward to that. But the rest of it, you know, seems decent. Well, Glass Prison's a song that I like quite a lot. And next, an album of a band that I didn't really know much about and have yet to listen to, but sounds cool. Iced Earth's Night of the Storm Rider. Sounds like some pretty cool power metal, so yeah. And it has a song called Angel Holocaust on it, so. Okay, next we have Beardfish's Mammoth. And this, in my opinion, is Beardfish's best album and has the absolute classic song, in my opinion. And the Stones said, "If I Could Speak." If you're this is Beardfish, if you don't know, are part of the 70s, this 70s sort of prog revival that's going on, bands like this and Astra. And if you want to check them out, listen to the song. And the Stones said, "If I Could Speak." And if that doesn't convert you, it's like a mixture of Yes and King Crimson, then you won't like the band, to be honest. Except you might like The Void, because that's quite a bit heavier. That's like adding Dream Theater into King Crimson, yes. Now this was a weird choice. These were some albums that I bought now in cash generators. Apparently the cash converters in Liverpool is gone and now changed to a cash generators, and they seem to quite not like it if you call them cash converters. It's a lot smaller though, I don't like it as much, but I still got some decent stuff. This was really quite a random one. Skunk Anansie, Paranoid and Sunburnt. I'm checking this album out really for the reason that when I was reading Classic Rock, I saw that Lemmy voted their new album as his favourite album of 2012, so it's like, check it out, if Lemmy likes them, why not? That really was the entire thought process, but I had heard of the album before, seen the most famous one, and that was only £1, so why not? Now this album is an absolute bargain for 50p. This was Soundgarden's Super Unknown, and even though I didn't think too much of King Animal, I'm going to be talking about that in another video. Super Unknown, it seemed, it's a really famous Soundgarden album, and yeah, I thought I'd check it out for only 50p, and it's in pretty decent condition. A band that I don't listen to as much as I used to, but 50p I couldn't turn this down, especially as it was the special edition as well. Snow Patrol's Eyes Open. I really like, I do like Snow Patrol. I think The Final Straw is a really good album, and 100 Million Suns has Take Back the City, which is such a catchy song. I do love that a lot. And this song has Chasing Cars on it, so yeah, that's just that song alone is worth the 50p, to be honest, but I will check out the entire album. My Oxfam buy of the month was an album I didn't expect to find Oxfam, so that's pretty cool. It was Halloween's Gambling with the Devil. Don't know anything about this album, it just said Halloween on it, and it was pretty cheap, so it's like, why not check it out? An absolute classic album that I hadn't owned or heard, but the title track I knew very well. The Eagles, Hotel California, and the remastered version, which I got for £3 in CX, which I thought was pretty decent. I have to say, listening to it, I really love the album. That Hotel California, The Last Resort, the best tracks, the first and last. But the whole album is a really, really strong album. Enjoyed it a lot. I did think the production was a bit off. I checked if it was just this remaster by comparing the Hotel California on here to it on my vinyl, Eagles Greatest Hits. But I don't know. Just the production on the entire album just seemed a little off. Anyone's listened to this, do tell me if you think so. I don't know, just to my ears it sounded a bit, I don't know, I didn't like the way it's produced, but fantastic album anyhow. Now we're getting into some more CX ones and my sort of insanity on Marilyn Manson. So already we've had Born Villain, now we have Mechanical Animals. This is the second part of the trilogy, and Hollywood with the last part is just, I love that album so much, it's in my top 20 albums now, so I thought, yeah, why not for £3, and, seems cool. And then the first part of the trilogy, Antichrist Superstar for only £1, why not? So now I have that entire trilogy, which I'm really looking forward to listening to. And also, if that wasn't enough Marilyn Manson for a month, I also got Golden Age of Grotesque, because it's like £3, and it's the version with it's a special edition with a DVD as well, which I thought was pretty decent for £3. So yeah, I now have quite a bit of Marilyn Manson, to be honest, quite a lot actually. Okay, now we're moving to some Oasis. Yes, some bargain Oasis. We're getting close to the end now. We have Oasis is Don't Believe the Truth. It's not their best album, but it's Oasis for £1. Yeah, you know, it's going to be decent. And then we have Master Plan, which isn't a proper album, it's just a collection of just like live stuff and random stuff and like rarities and B-sides. But yeah, it's still a cool album to have. Haven't listened to it yet, but you know, seems like it'd be cool. Oh, I just bounced. Right, okay. So next we have an album for £1. I thought this was a bargain, to be honest. I really enjoyed listening to it. This was Jeff Buckley's Grace. Now the only Jeff Buckley songs I knew was Grace and Hallelujah. I love Hallelujah, it's such fantastic. I discovered that when I went to see Flying Colours in Case It McPherson did a cover, but I did recognise it, I just didn't know anything about it. But yeah, I learned it was Jeff Buckley. Well, no, okay, it was Leonard Cohen, but Jeff Buckley made it, like, you know, he does the best version. Probably most famous. So yeah, checked his version out on YouTube, really enjoyed it. So when I saw this album for £1, I thought, hey, for that song and Grace, which I also liked on YouTube as well, it was worth £1 alone, to be honest. But I've checked out the entire album, and it's a really good album. It's just a really strong album to us. I've enjoyed it quite a lot. Definitely recommend it. Okay, and next we have, if it stays together, we have a good old Bob Dylan record, and one that a lot of people seem to say is one of his best. Haven't listened to it yet though. The Times They Are A-Changin' by Bob Dylan. I hear a lot of people talk about this album, so as I've been going for quite a big Bob Dylan phase, getting into him a lot, I thought, yeah, I'll definitely check this out for a few quid. And last but not least is one of the best bargains I got, an album I've been looking for a while, and it was only £1 in CX. Seether's Disclaimer 2, I've been meaning to get my hands on this for ages. It's my second favourite Seether album, and I absolutely adore this album. From songs like Gasoline, one of my favourite Seether songs, to Needles, and Sympathetic, and Broken. And it has the version of Broken featuring Amy Lee, which even though I don't like Evan's songs really, I think that that is the best version actually. So that covers the normal CDs, but now we have a couple sort of like box setty like special editions, and then that's it, so it's close to the end. So first up we have Judas Priest Nostradamus, and this is the 2 CD limited edition version with a 48-page book, and yeah, it's really cool. It's the last album they released, and yeah, it's a really cool version with a really nice booklet to it and stuff, really nice version of the album. And then something that I was so happy to get, which I've been wanting for quite a long time, was this version of Pink Floyd's Piper at the Gates of Dawn, the first Pink Floyd album with Syd Barrett on vocals and guitar. And the thing about this version I wanted to do with more than any of the other ones was, firstly, disc 1 is a mono disc, so I can hear it in mono, which I actually have only listened to. I haven't had the stereo, but it also has the stereo one as well, which is cool. But one of the main appeals for this was disc 3, because some of my favourite Pink Floyd songs from this era are just the singles they released before this and Saucer Full of Secrets. And they are Arnold Lane, See Emily Play, Apples and Oranges, but it also has Canned in a Currant Bun, Paint Box, and some sort of edits and stereo versions and alternative versions and stuff. But it's really cool, the disc 3 bonus content on here, and yeah, it's presented a really nice sort of way. Has a nice booklet to it and all, and has a very weird thing which I will show, which I found quite weird. This weird little booklet, which was made from collages of Syd Barrett's at the time. It doesn't make any sense, but it's kind of cool. But yeah, I've been listening to the album, fantastic album, and the single, Apples and Oranges, God, that's a good song. I love that so much. Yeah, actually one of my favourite Pink Floyd songs, weirdly. But yeah, so certainly a lot more than November. This is the 25-minute one as opposed to a 5-minute one November. So yeah, this has been the Album Man. Thanks for watching, comment, rate, subscribe, and as usual, long live rock and roll.